As the self-proclaimed indie queen of YouTube, it is time for another one of What's New in Indie Makeup, where I go through 6 of the latest indie palettes, indie collections. I show you swatches, I do demos, I let you know how I feel about these things, and at the end, I'll let you know my absolute favorite as well. All of these palettes, that's not true. The Adept palette, this is one of the palettes we're going to talk about today. The Adept palette I bought myself, and the other ones I got in PR. I do have an affiliate code. I think with all of these brands, you can use my normal affiliate code, which is Angelica, and you'll get 10% off your order in case you were interested in any of these palettes. But this isn't a shop with me. These are all the things that you need. This video is meant to be me showcasing what's new in the indie world right now, because there are so many things going on, so that you can make up your mind and see if any of these actually are for you. And if you're not in the shopping mood, that's totally fine. I'm doing 6 different eye looks tutorials, usually very colorful. One of them is going to be a neutral for, you're going to see soon, very apparent reasons. Just giving you some inspirations. Maybe shop your stash, find similar things, recreate things at home, because at the end of the day, I want to be a helpful resource if you were looking to get some new makeup, but I also want to help you just get some inspiration of how to do fun, colorful looks, maybe shopping your stash, using some things that you have at home. But I started doing these videos, I want to say like a while ago. It's over a year ago for sure, and it's just been a really fun way for me to showcase a bunch of new indie releases all at once, so that we can just see them together, compare them, see which one is a favorite, and if there's any of them that work for you. So one of the palettes we're going to be talking about, I think this is the first look as well. This is the Emo palette by Adept Cosmetics. Did buy this one myself. We're also going to be talking about the Fantasy Cosmetica. Which one's this? The Ranger palette. Then we have the Dede signature Drops of Fantasy. This look is very bright, and like I said, one of them is going to be neutral, because the Spectrum palette by Sigma, it's a neutral palette, so it's going to be a neutral look, and I hope you enjoy that as well, because I tried to show you something a little bit different. And then we have the Game Beauty and Street Fighter collection. It is this palette here, and that's the one I'm wearing right now, so this is going to be the last look. And I'm also showing you the cheek products, the single shadows, and the lipsticks in that one, in case you were interested, because there is a full collection to this. And then it is the Nomad Cosmetics Route 66 palette, which is the latest palette that they released. Mine did have a little bit of a tumble in transit. One of my shadows came a little bit broken, but I was definitely able to use the entire palette anyways. So let's jump into the looks. Don't forget to let me know which one is your favorite. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy it, and if you want to see more videos like this in the future, because I will say, as a YouTuber doing videos, I do tend to do more videos of the ones that gets the most comments, gets the most likes, and gets the most like engagement and views. So if this is something that you want to see, do let me know. But let's jump into looks. It's time to film another 4 palettes for looks. I love filming these, and the first one we are gonna do is the Emo palette by Adept Cosmetics. I am super excited. I really want to do something smoky, and I'm thinking we're gonna play with this. Oh, you can see here the almost like lavender. It's called Grable. Am I saying this correctly? And I'm thinking we're gonna start with Storm, this one. So I'm just gonna start with Storm, and then we'll do Grable. I don't know if that's correct. And then Coal Dust, which is this one here. That is what I'm thinking. Well, we will see. So we're starting with Storm, and this is a EO6. And I just want to do kind of like a cool-toned smoky eye. So I'm just gonna push this into my crease. And my lippy is actually, it's from MAC. It is one of their like new luster glasses, and it is in Thanks It's MAC. That's the color. I thought it would be really cute with a cool tone smoky look. So I'm just gonna, so you can see I'm pushing. I feel like I have the wrong settings on my camera. So let me fix the settings on my camera, and I'm just gonna do this. And I'm also gonna put this on the lower lash line, but not blending. change the settings a little bit, and without any additional color, I'm just gonna soften the edges. I'm just buffing a little bit. You can see I'm like pushing and doing very small, almost like I'm not doing big things. I'm doing like almost like small, yeah, I'm just pushing and buffing on the edge a little bit before we go in with the purple shadow. I'm just trying to loosen up the edge a little bit. So with an EO4 that is absolutely not clean, hold on, that's better. We are gonna do the grayable. I do not know if that is the I don't know if that's the actual name, but I'm pushing that on the edge. And we are gonna see how this will look together with the gray. Because of course there is a big chance/risk, depending on what you like, that this will all just look very gray together because it is such a pale grayish lavender. But maybe we'll give a little bit of a lavender hint to it. I do think that that is working pretty good. And then I'm gonna go in with the darker one. It is called Deep Abyss. I think this is like a black. And we're gonna do that at the end, after the shimmer, to like deepen up even more. I'm gonna do the exact same under my eyes too. And before we do the shimmer, I'm gonna reapply some of that dark gray, the storm shadow, just to make sure we're not losing it. So just a little bit of the storm reapplied into the crease and blended into that grayish lavender to make sure that we are not making the look too pale. So now on a flat E9, we are doing Coal Dust, and I am going to be spraying it. I'm just bringing out a spray that I have in front of me. This is the Fresh Prince by Glamlight. And I am going to just literally cover my entire lid with this. That is so cool. What a fun look. I mean, fun may not be the right word for it, but like, I don't know, sexy, but still something special, because that shadow is very nice. So this is with an EO7. We're doing Dark Abyss, and I'm starting on my lower lash line, just deepening up before we get into the top. Same Abyss, Deep Abyss color, and an EO5, the small blending brush. We are doing on the outer corner, just deepening up a little bit. I'm not putting this in the crease, it's just in the outer corner, just to keep it even more smoky, and we'll blend it out in a second. This is the brush that we used the gray with, and I'm just gonna soften a little bit on this edge. Outwards and upwards, just softening a little bit. But that looks really cool. Okay, so this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking with the brush that I had, that like lavender shade, the grayable. I was thinking, what if I put that in the inner corner? I feel like this could be like such a cool look for this, like just making it into this like almost grayish pale. It's giving like phantom lavender, because there's a lot of gray in there, but still there is a lavender hint to it. And I was thinking, if we just put that on the entirety of the inner part of the eye, it could give a little interesting touch to this smoky eye, because it's definitely going into this like lavender. I am liking that. Let me see if I can find something gray for my waterline. So the only gray I really find is this one from Oden side. This is number 14. Yeah, but I think this is a shimmer, but this might work. Yeah, that's actually really cool. Okay, so this is the finished look. I gotta say, now that we have everything together, I was worried it was gonna look all gray, but I almost think that the lavender like this one. This is the one we've been using. This one together with the gray, it's almost looking like it matches the denim. It's almost giving like a light denim. I like it. It's a little bit of an unexpected smoky eye. I think the quality of the shadows are really good. I'm also really excited to see that this one and the palette before, I feel like Adept has been working a little bit more on their mattes too, which I personally think is great because for me, it's a good palette is a palette that has good mattes and good shimmers, and Adept has always had like amazing shimmers, and now I feel like their mattes are like catching up as well, and I really do enjoy that. So I really like this look. I think it's beautiful. Let's get into the second one, which I have no idea what that is as I'm filming this, but you'll find out right now. We're gonna do a look with the new Fantasy Cosmetica, and I have like the yard work guys in the background, but if you hear them, they're just here doing their job. And I'm thinking we are gonna try and do a neutral crease, and then I'm gonna do the bright greens on the lower lash line, and I think this dark mossy green on the lid. This is what I'm thinking. So I'm gonna start with Track and then Tame. And this one is a Ranger palette. Again, I never played Dungeons and Dragons. I'm starting with Track, which is that like lighter brown. I never played Dungeons and Dragons, except me and my bigger brother used to just sit down and make characters, but not like really play the game. We were like 10 and 11. He's just 1 year older than me. But I did play, and you know this from before, I did play World of Warcraft for several years, and I was pretty serious about it. Okay, I was pretty serious about it. And so for me, a ranger is a hunter, and we all know that every hunter is gonna put their pet on aggressive, pull everything in sight, and then just disengage. We've all had that hunter, okay? This is a really pretty, almost like a creamsicle. It's like almost like a orangey peach undertone to this brown. It's really nice. Look at me being a neutral queen. I've really been enjoying neutrals as of late, but I'm still making them pretty dramatic. I did a really nice look for the reveal dinner for my palette with my own brand Singe, and I got some questions if I could recreate that look, so I really want to do that too. That's really pretty. Okay, with the smaller brush, we're now doing Tame, which is the darker color. Oh, this is a really nice like reddish brown. I'm just pushing it on to begin with, and then we'll sort it after, and then we're gonna blend it upwards too. Probably should have taken a little bit of a bigger brush. This is an EO5, which is like the smallest brush, but I really wanted to get into the crease. I'm gonna go back with the brush that we had the lighter color. No additional shadow. I'm just blending them together. Small circular motions. I feel like that is looking really good. Okay, so I built this color up a little bit more, and that is looking delicious. Absolutely delicious. So what I'm gonna do, I think I'm gonna take this one. It's called Hunter. Like I said, you know the disengaged guy? That's this one. I'm gonna use that one under my eyes with a pencil brush, and then I'm gonna deepen it up with Strider, the shade here. I think this is really cool. What a fun color. I love a bright, I mean, you know I love a bright green. Before I do that, I think I'm gonna do Wilderness, which is this shimmer here. I'm gonna do that on my lid because I wanna see if like I need to use, I was gonna pour my caffeine water on it. That's not good. I want to see if I need to use some more dark shades in the outer corner, because I think I might. So I'm just gonna put this on the entire lid. Oh my gosh, I love green so much. This makes me so happy. Are you kidding me? That's so pretty. So I normally don't do shimmers all the way out, but here I think I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna layer some mattes on top. But just because I want to keep the depth of this look. So I'm gonna work a little bit on the edge here. And I'm just, you can see I'm pulling on the edge just to disperse it into the matte so it doesn't look like a sharp line. Because I want this to be a smoky look, and for it to be a smoky look, smokes don't have like sharp edges. Smokes are like, you know, blown out and just gradient. So I need to work on that a little, but I think that is a good look. Let me see if I can find a F07. Here we go. And this is the Strider, which is that dark green. And I am gonna put that and deepen this up. Oh, that is really pretty too. Okay. I'm just gonna put a little bit in the outer corner. This is the dark green. I'm using the same brush here. It's a little bit more detailed. I'm just brushing it on. And then with the brush that I had before, I'm cleaning that off. And I'm just gonna be, maybe I'll add a little bit more. Just buffing a little bit out here. Smoking that out. Is that not so good? So this is the dark green, and again, I'm putting that on top of the shimmer because I do want this to be dark and somewhat matte. And I'm going back with the fluffier brush, and I'm just dispersing. Because again, we don't want a smoky look, we don't want any like sharp edges. But I think that is looking I love that. So I added some green in my waterline. I used the green one from Oden side. This is number 5. I put that in my waterline, and I did some mascara. And I want to do Explore, which is this like almost sagey matte green. You know, I love shades like this. I literally put a similar one in my palette, and I want to do I want to do that in my inner corner, and I am sold. That is gorgeous. Are you kidding me? Wow. That's so pretty. Oh my god, do you see how dark it is behind me? It is brewing up to be a storm, and it is turning gloomy real fast, like Mordor just rolled in, okay? I gotta say, I absolutely love this look. I love this transition between the light green and the bright green. Very much impressed. I think that per usual, there was like, I want to say like a year ago, maybe it was the Cradle and Ice, I don't know, but there was one of the palettes where the mattes were just like, okay. There was like, not that they were bad before, although there was one palette, I think it was the Warlock palette, where I was like, not my favorite mattes. But then there was this immense upgrade, and this one is the same. The mattes are beautiful, creamy, buildable, blendable. I mean, you can see how this looks so stunning. You can really build them up or sheer them out. Very, very beautiful. The shimmer that I use is just such a dimensional, deep, sexy green. And I'm just very impressed. I think this color story is a pretty versatile color story for being a 9 pan. And I really love the look that I'm wearing. I'm heading to the grocery store. My husband asked me, if we go to the grocery store, can I cook you dinner? What kind of a question is that? Of course, I'll buy you the whole store if you cook me dinner. I was trying to play casual. I'm like, yeah, sure. Meanwhile, I'm just already like hogging my debit card. I'll pay for everything as long as I don't have to cook dinner. So heading to the grocery store looking like this, but you get to see the next look right now. I don't know if we had any audio in the beginning. This might be me starting here because the audio was a little bit off there for a bit. So we're gonna do something with the Spectrum palette. I don't know what happened with the audio, but I went in with an EO8 and I used the one that is called Buttered Waffles. And I think I described this one as like almost like a neutral with a yellow undertone. You can see compared to the other shades, it's definitely a little bit more yellow, but you also can see on my eyes that it's definitely a little bit more of a neutral shade. And I was just packing that one on when I noticed the audio was not functioning correctly. So I'm sorry if you missed when I started putting this shadow on, but I don't know what happened to the audio. It was almost like it was like in between settings and it was giving like no output whatsoever. I have no idea. But as you can see, I've only used one shadow and it is very, very pigmented straight out of the gate, which is something that I really like. I like when a neutral palette has some pigment. It makes me be able to do like really dramatic neutral looks, which is something that I really appreciate. I'm actually filming this on a weekend. I usually do not film on weekends because I try to, you know, take some time to hang out with my husband and not be filming or working, but we are heading out to dinner and I said that I was going to put some makeup on, and then I remembered I have all these palettes I want to film looks with. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to put some makeup on, but I might as well like film it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this one. It's called Honeysuckle. I'm going to use that in the crease, and I think I'm going to accent a little bit with this really light one. It's called June. And what do we want to do as like a dark color? I think I'm going to do Cornucopia, which is just a very like a dark espresso brown. And I'm going to put that in the outer corner, but I'm also going to put that in the crease because we're going to do a little bit of a smoky eye. And when I do that, I do like having the dark shadow in the entirety of the crease, but of course not in the inner corner. But this is an E10 and it's like a little bit more of a pointy blender brush, and it really goes well into the crease so that you can like be a little bit more detailed with your blending but still have like a firm brush. I'm gonna go back to the brush that I had before, and I am gonna take just a little bit more of the Buttered Waffle, which is such a cute name for a shade, and we are just blending these together so you get this like depth and darkness and just sultry crease before we get into the shimmer. I'm gonna use these under the eyes too. I think I'm gonna skip any shimmers on the lower lash line, at least for now. Yeah, only mattes. So this is where we are with the smokiness right now when I put those shades under my eyes too. And this is that shade Honeysuckle. And I'm gonna spritz it. It's like a warm bronze. And I am gonna put that in, I think on my entire lid. I think that will be really pretty. And I'm gonna put a little bit more of the dark Cornucopia out here. I think that is looking, that's good, looking really good. I mean, it's super neutral, but what else is to be expected with this palette? At least the quality is really nice. Okay, I'm gonna do what I really like doing, which is taking this one that's called Sand Dollar. And what is going on out here? And I'm gonna put that in my inner corner. But then I'm gonna take, oof. Oh god, that's more pigmented than I was expecting. I don't know why I did not expect this, but dang. Dang! I love a super pigmented. I could really have done a really like contrasty. That would have been so cute too. Contrasted look. Okay, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take out the pencil brush again. This is the E11 from Singe, and I'm gonna do Dune, which is that like really almost white champagne, and I'm gonna spray it And I'm gonna pull that in here. That's giving something a little bit different. I think you can see the difference between the two. There's just a little bit of brightness and extra, like a little bit of a detail. And I think that that is like the finished look. I'm really liking that. I'm gonna put some brown in my waterline. I'm gonna put on the lash, but look at me being like a neutral queen. I'm trying. Watch the next look after this one be an absolute clown look. I actually decided to not do any lashes because I feel like when you have a smoky look, you actually, that's one of the times where I feel a no lashes is still as good. I am a person who loves lashes. I am a person who loves a good falsie. I know it's not for everyone, but we all have our makeup preferences, and that is definitely mine. What I will say about this palette, yes, it is an all brown palette, and if I made a neutral palette, it wouldn't look like that, like this palette looks. With that being said, I still think the quality of it is really beautiful, and if you are the kind of person who really only wants browns and beiges, this is a really nice quality palette, and I do appreciate that there are so many mattes in here, and you can go a little bit more rosy and a little bit more cool tone, a little bit more like warm tone. I do still wish that there was more variation between the shades, but again, that's a personal preference. And I saw plenty of you leaving comments on this one when I put it up on my Instagram saying this is your like ideal perfect palette. So that's just a personal preference coming in. I do still really appreciate the look. I think this looks great. I'm going out for dinner and I think this is a perfect going out for dinner look for sure. Let me know what you think about this one down below, and let's get into the next look. I'm looking at the palettes that I have to choose from, and there are some pretty bold options, so I might be a happy clown in the next one. It is time for our next look, and we are gonna do something with the new Nomad palette. Can I say I love the packaging? It's got this almost like soft, like pearlescent sheen to it. So this is the Route 66 palette, and mine, en route to me, did get a little bit of a nick in one shadow, but that's totally fine. We're still gonna make it work. So what I am hoping to do is I wanna use all the bright shimmers in here, and I wanna do a green crease, and I want to use all of these on the lid and on the lower lash line. So I think we are going to start with, actually, maybe I will use this one and then blend it out with this one. That's what I'm going to do. And also I've taken off my nails. I'm letting my nails rest a little bit, and it's really weird to not have nails on when you're so used to having them. But I'm letting my nails rest for just a little bit, and I will probably put on new ones soon. I took mine off and I cut mine down, and I'm like, let's give it a rest. So this is Cadillac Ranch, and it is the dark brown. And my goal with this look is not necessarily to make a super dark look. I want to make a more colorful look, incorporating a bunch of different shimmers, because I feel like sometimes, and I feel like that with me as well, I tend to do a lot of mattes and then like one shimmer, maybe two. But in this look, I'm going to show you how to incorporate 4 really colorful shimmers together. So I'm basically doing the dark shadow like this. That's it. I'm going to do a little bit on here, the outer part of my lower lash line too, and then we're gonna go into that lighter matte. Before we do the lighter matte, I'm just gonna softly buff a little bit on the edge to get this to be a little bit softer before we layer the green on the edge. just a little bit like that. So with an EO4, we are doing End of Trail, and this is my favorite brush to do those like blending on the edge. And you can see I'm just packing on some of it on the edge first. These kind of looks when you like start with the dark shadow and work your way to a lighter shadow. It is a trust the process kind of a thing. And I'm putting it in here as well. I will say, just first impression of this shade, I do wish it had a little bit more like substance and oomph to it. I feel like it's maybe a little sheer, which isn't my absolute favorite, but we will make it work. You can see it's showing up a little lighter to begin with than maybe what I prefer. And then I'm going back with Cadillac Ranch, which is that dark brown. And you can see I'm blending over again now. And I'm blending them together to make them seem like they belong. I will say also, I'm definitely not taking a shortcut with this like color combo, because it is much easier to blend in a dark shade to a medium shade than it is to blend in a dark shade with a light shade. But I didn't feel like there was any of the medium shades in this palette that had that tone that I was looking for. And sometimes you just then have to take the long route and just, again, route, and just blend and go back and forth to make sure that they are blending together. It's definitely possible. You just have to be a little bit more careful when blending and using smaller brushes for sure. I've said this before, but the darker the shadow, the smaller the brush. And this is also a rule you should have when, if you're blending two colors together that don't naturally blend in together, definitely a smaller brush is the answer. Okay, so now we are gonna do, and I think I'm gonna do them in the order that they are here. Green to blue to pink to coral. And I am gonna start with a flat brush first, but I'm gonna go into a smaller flat brush in a bit. So this is the F09, which is the new brush from Singe, and this is the F07. And these like flat, like detail brushes are really gonna help. And since I wanna be as precise as possible, this is the green, I am gonna spray them because that means not only do we not get like a lot of fallout and we get it to be like as opaque as it can be, we also make sure that it's sticking down where we put it down, so it's like easier to be a little detailed. So I'm gonna do the green like that, and then we are gonna fix this edge later on. I'm also gonna do the blue on this brush, and then we are gonna switch to a smaller brush for the other two colors. And I'm just putting that next to it. That is like so cool. What a bright, fun color. I love sometimes being able to incorporate like the color story, like so many colors as possible from a palette into a look. I also like sometimes being able to just be like, no, I just want to focus on like these three colors and just show how you can do something easy, wearable, not too like overly complicated when you're doing like looks with a palette, but it's fun to do both. I'm going in with a little bit more of the green now on the edge without spraying it, and just making sure that these two like blend together a little bit. And now I'm taking the smaller brush and we're doing the El Rancho, which is the pink. And this one allows me to be even more detailed with the shadow. Putting it next to it. This one is not as opaque in the base as the others, but that also enables it to be like blended over the blue a bit. And then the last one is Monger Moss, and we're spritzing that and we're putting that on the inner part of the lid. Ooh, that's really fun. So you can see that's a really fun look, and I'm gonna go back to the shadow that I had, the light green, almost like a pastel murky green, and I'm just gonna pat that on the edge. That's really fun. I think I'm gonna do the exact same under my eyes. Okay, so I put some mascara and a brown eyeliner in my waterline to tie everything together, and I think that this looks so cool. So I am gonna use, it is called Road of Dreams. And it is this like lighter thingamabob, and I'm gonna do that in my inner corner because I want to have something that is not that dark and that is not shimmery, just in my absolute inner corner. Ah, yes, yes, yes. I think this is what I'm looking for. And that's gonna be the look. Let me put on a little bit of a lash and we can chat about what I think. This is everything finished, and I gotta say, I do feel very cool. It's very different, and I like that I was able to like capture the essence and the feeling of the palette in this look with all of these shimmers and the kind of like murky crease with the bright shimmers in the middle. I feel like I was able almost to like capture the essence of the palette. You're gonna have to let me know if you agree, but I think it's really cute. What I will say, these mattes are not my favorite mattes from Nomad Cosmetics. I think that this one felt a little bit thin, and now after feeling some of the others, I think that this is a good palette, but not their best palette. I still think that the quality of the last palette and also that amazing Japan palette, oh, I'm still like in my mind, I'm like, such a good one. I think I prefer those a little bit more than this one. I also feel the greens in the Ireland palette felt more substantial than this one. So if you're looking for like a green palette, maybe I would steer you in the Ireland Wild Atlantic way instead. But if you like this color story, I mean, you can definitely make it work. It's super cute, and I love the theme, and I love this effect with the pearls. This is like, as myself, as a brand owner, I look at this and I'm like, that's really cute. Where'd you get it? It's like, you know, when people look at like outfits and they're like, that's cute, where'd you get it? That's how I'm like looking at people's packaging. I'm like, that's cute. Where'd you get it? So overall, I think it's really beautiful. Maybe not my favorite palette from Nomad Cosmetics, but definitely not a dud in any way. Let's get into the next one. I'm pretty sure the next one is going to be that new palette from Dede Signature. Okay, I'm a newbie and I forgot to put the microphone on before I started doing my eyeshadow, but back from the beginning, finally doing something with drops of fantasy, but Dede Signature. I saved this palette until I knew I had plans, and I have plans. I'm going out and about, and I love the combo between blue, green, and yellow. So we are going to be working with the two blues just in the outer corner, and then focusing on a lot of the green and the yellow. Honestly, if I'm gonna be totally honest with you, I see so many fun things I can do with this palette. And this is a rainbow palette, but I will say the undertones of this palette and the combination between really light shades and really dark shades, and again, the different undertones that are presented here, the warm, the murky, the cool, it gives me a lot of inspiration because I can see so many interesting combinations. I am gonna keep it just like this. This is it, and then we are gonna do, I'm gonna do a little bit on the lower lash line too, but then we're gonna do the lighter blue. I'm just trying to not overdo it on the darkness in this look. I want bright, and you can see I'm going back and forth, back and forth. I want the brightness of this look to be the element, not how dark it is. And I am so excited about blue, green, and yellow. I say as I'm wearing like orange. I should have coordinated this better, but here we are. So this is the lighter blue that's called Droplets, and this is the one that I am gonna put next to it, but also like blending this out. Oh my god, am I in focus? Hello? But also like blending this out a little bit. And I try not to overblend because, again, try not to overblend something that is not matching your undertone. I have a golden warm undertone, so if I overblend the blue, it's just gonna look like a gray bruise, which is not what I'm trying to do. So if you are working with a color that if you're like, why does the color never look good on me? It's probably because you're over blending it, because the color doesn't naturally blend into your undertone. So this is Excitement, which does excite me a lot. It is a beautiful, you can see it's almost like a neon apple green. It's almost like a cartoonish color. And again, this is what I'm saying, that this palette has so many interesting undertones. I will say these kind of super bright colors usually don't love being layered on top of something, and they usually don't love having something layered on top of them. So the best way to work with these like super bright colors that have like white pigment in them to make them this bright is to just pack them on, blend the edges, leave them be. This is going to be like a tip from the coach. So I'm just putting this in the middle of my crease. And you can see I'm just blending a little bit on the edge. Usually they're very easy to blend out though, because of the white pigment, making them act almost a little bit like setting my primer than like an eyeshadow. But I do really love how that looks. And then we're doing, let me see what the name of this is. It is called Hype. It is that yellowy shade. And we are gonna do that. Do you see now what I mean with the combo between yellow, blue, and green? I feel like this combo is something that I need to explore in a future like Cinch palette, because I have always loved that combo. And now that I own my own brand and I'm no longer collabing with brands, even though of course when I've been collabing with brands, I have been given the opportunity to pretty much just do what I want, it is still not the same as being able to decide everything on your own, including like packaging and how long things are going to be available and stuff like that. Like, you probably know all of the things that I have done as collabs have been limited edition and discontinued. So being able to be fully in control of everything has been, delightful. I'm wearing this lipstick. This is the Bare Minerals in Grateful. That's what's on my lips, and that's what there's something, I can feel it. You know when you feel it? Oh, there it is on my lips. But yeah, that's how I feel about like creating a brand, being in control, doing different color stories. I now get to be 100% the one that decides everything. And like I said, even though I've been pretty much been able to do whatever I want, there is a difference in being able to control everything. You know, formula, distribution, pricing, how long are it's going to be available, all of those things. It's been very fun. And I gotta say, this color story from Dede Signature is just really fun. Look at how bright and fun this is. I am literally going out for lunch and I am gonna be the brightest person at this lunch restaurant. I can tell you that already for free. I'm putting some of the yellow on the lid because I don't think I'm gonna put a shimmer in the inner part. I mean, I think that is looking really cool. So I was first thinking I was gonna do this one, but I'm thinking I'm gonna start with this one. Or am I gonna do the blue and then the yellow? Or do I want to do the green? But this one has like a pink shift with the green. You know what? I think I'll do the blue. And I don't have any nails on right now, so I actually might... Ooh, that's really pretty. I might do my fingers. Because now that I don't have any claws, fingers might help. Yeah, I'm putting the blue just out in the absolute outer part of the lid. I'm gonna wipe off my finger, but first I'm actually gonna do a little bit of the Beats, which is the dark blue matte. Okay, so this is Bubble with Joy. It's a little bit more opaque, not as like much of a topper. So I'll go in, oh my god, I'm sorry. I'm go in and pat this a little bit more so that we don't overdo. Definitely is a little topper actually, because now that I put it up into the green in the crease, I can definitely see it shifting a little bit, which helps us a lot. I look like a fun parrot in the best way. It's gonna be a parrot going to lunch. Okay, I'm just doing like a little ponytail moment with my hair, but I absolutely love how this turned out. I think it looks incredible, and I feel like I was able to use quite a few shades from this palette, even though it is like a rainbow palette. And you got this really pretty like dark green here that would work both with the green we had here, but also with the minty shade down here if you want to pull it a bit more cool tone. And this is what I mean when I say that it's unexpected undertoned. We got this like neon crayon green, and then we have this almost like a mix between a teal and a mint. It's like a dark mint, and then we have these berry tones together with a peach and a pale pink down here, which gives it a totally different vibe. Two different blues, a yellow, and then just very interesting shimmers. I really like this. I really like this. I feel like Dede's Signature is one of those brands where I'm like, she is really going from just great to great to great, and I'm so impressed with how this is looking. I'm very, very excited that I'm gonna be wearing this. We are gonna do what I think is my last look, and I haven't 100% yet decided what that is gonna be, but you're gonna see the sixth look right now. So I have this humongous. Can you see it? This is the humongous Street Fighter Endgame Beauty PR box. And in this PR box is the palette that you just saw swatches of. There's also these little, these are like not duochromatic, but more like multi-chrome special shadows. I actually did a reel on these, and I'll edit that one and put it in so you can see the swatches of these. There is one here that was so interesting. It is this one. It is this really pretty like peachy gold. And I'm almost like tempted to try this one. And I want to do like an unexpected color combo. This one is called Jamie. So are you a Street Fighter girly or a Mortal Kombat girly? Because I will say, I'm a Mortal Kombat girly. I love Mortal Kombat, the movies, the games, literally my childhood personified. Like, absolutely was me and my brothers, I have 3 brothers, obsessed. Obsessed does not cover. There's also a bunch of lipsticks in here, and this is the one that's called Jury. And Jury? Not Jury, but like Yuri. I'm a Mortal Kombat girly. This one is, ooh, this is like a pink with a gold. That's fun. So I thought, usually I do lipstick first, but I thought I'll do lip swatches. And again, I'll do a little short and I'll put that in towards the end. So we'll do lipsticks at the end. So there are 6 different colors of lipsticks. And this actually is the character that I used to play if I ever played Street Fighter, which is Honda, which is an orange. Maybe this is where we'll end up. They do like fit with the pattern. I don't know if you can see. Really pretty. So we'll do those at the end. And then at the bottom drawer, let me see if I can show you. There's like, you open it up and this is where the palette and the lipsticks were, but you can see, oh my god. Me and my friends keep doing this joke, trying being an influencer for a day, you know, referring back to the Michaela Noguera when she was like talking about how hard it is, which we're just doing a 9-to-5 market, not 9-to-5. I'm doing a 6-to-6 marketing job, but we're just making fun of that moment. So here were the single shadows, and these are blush and highlighter sticks. So I thought, let's use some of these. Lily. And again, I didn't play these games that much, so I'm actually not going to be swatching all of these. I'm going to see if I can give some of them away. So I'm going to do one blush or a highlighter. I don't know Manon in the game, but I do know Manon from the Sarah J. Maas universe. One of my top 3 favorite book characters of all time. Manon from Throne of Glass. I was literally wearing a Manon t-shirt yesterday, not even joking. Oh, is this a highlighter or is this a blush? Let me see. Okay, so this is probably a highlighter with pink. Okay, so we're gonna use this one. And let's see if we can find a blush to go with it, because I am only wearing bronzer right now. So this one that is called Shun Li seems to be like a blue highlighter. Oh, this seems to be a blush with some glow. This is Cami. And then we have 3 more shades for blushes here. And probably this is like my shade and will go really well with the pink. And this is in Lily. So I think I'm gonna use that one. So I'm kind of wondering how I'm gonna go about this. I might do a little bit like this and then just blend it out with, that's not the best way, with an F07. Also, sometimes with these cream products, you kind of have to like break them in before you can like use them straight on the skin. No, you can see it lifted a little bit there. But that could be me not going in very smart in the beginning. So I'm gonna go in now with a brush. But at least now I know. Also, I will say, and this is how I like to try out cream products the first time I try them out. I always try them on over a somewhat powdered base, because according to me, the best cream products are the ones who work over a cream, like a powdered base. And some people will say like, oh, definitely don't do that. There is a lot of cream products that you can do that with. And that's how I weed out which ones have the most easy to work with formula. And that's maybe just a me thing, but that's definitely how I tend to use new products the first time I use them, to just be like, how versatile are they? And not every product are you able to do that with. Absolutely not. But I want to know, are we or are we not? I still think that this went on pretty good, especially on this side. It's a really cute color and actually pretty pigmented. Let me see if we can do the Menon one now. Me tearing the whole place down. So now I'm doing again with the brush, and we are gonna do on top. Ooh, that is really pretty. I used to be obsessed with a pink cheek, like before pink cheeks were popular, okay? In the beginning of my little YouTube career, I'm saying 2015, 16, 17. Oh my God, pink highlighters were, I was, yeah, obsessed. If anyone remembers me being obsessed with the Beyonce highlight, it was called Beyonce, it was from Jade Glow. And I used to love that one so much, but they discontinued it. No, they changed it. They changed the formula, which it wasn't as good for me any longer. But I know some other people prefer the reformulation. I personally did not. But yeah, that's how that looks. It looks really pink and dewy. That's really fun. I'm going to do a little bit of eye primer. And then I'm going to go in with the palette. And I want to do murky greens meets pinks. That's what we're doing. So I'm going to be using these 2 greens here. And then we are going to be playing with this pink, like gold duochrome. And I think we might use a little bit of the Ninja Star Pop just to make everything tie together. This is me like rethinking my life choices, but I think that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna use a EO6 with the Silra. Unfortunately, again, I don't know what that is, but it is a beautiful grassy green, and I love a color like this. So I'm just doing a little blob out here, and I'm gonna show you with that peachy color what I mean with using that one to help, because the shade we're gonna be using here, it has a little bit of a translucent base. So in order to get this to look exactly the way that I'm planning it to, I do need to use a base on part of my eyes to get the gradient or the shift that I'm looking for. So I did a little bit under my eyes too, and then we're doing the Great Sunlight. And this is that more like warmer greeny kind of a shade, and I'm gonna use that out here on the edge too. And I'm gonna do the same on the lower lash line here, but not on the inner part. We're saving that for that pink that we're gonna be accenting with. But you can see here, this is the gist of it. So this is the shade Ninja Star Pop. And like I said, to get this shade to appear from going to a darker pink to a lighter pink, and then just flow into this like murky green, I'm gonna apply some of this here. I know, listen, stay with me. This is a trust the process kind of a look. Although I look crazy right now. Maybe, you know what? Maybe be a little bit worried. Like maybe 20%. And with the pencil brush, I'm doing the same on the lower lash line. Just a little bit of the pink in the beginning. And this is where we are going to go into the shade here. And I am going to be spraying that. I'm just cleaning off the one that I used. And I am going to spray this to make sure that it is sticking down. It's like this really pretty pink to gold. Oh, I have my sprayer here. And I'm going to start out here. You know, where I want the pink to like just flow into the green. Let me close this palette so I don't, oh my, it's such a mess in front of me. You would laugh if you saw the absolute craziness. But yeah, I'm gonna apply some of this to make it just flow into the warm green a bit. But since this is a peachy pink going to a gold, you can see, you see the gold here? It's not gonna be as weird as we think in this look. And now I'm putting it on top of the pink. And you can see it's much more pink here where it has that pink base. And that's why I'm saying it's gonna appear like it's a darker pink here going in. You see? Darker pink going into the lighter pink. Just a little bit of an illusion. Or as my friend Lisa would say, an illusion. What are you hiding? I think I'm gonna use a little bit of this one and my EO7, which is a very detailed brush. This is in Blanca. Oh, I really like Blanca too, actually. That's also one of the characters I used to enjoy. And I'm just gonna put a little bit on the edge just to, again, make it easier to blend into the green. You see, just a little bit to make it easier to blend in to the green that's going on in the outer corner. And that's where this like EO7 really comes in handy because it is so detailed. I really want to do an inner corner highlight, but I don't want to do anything that's shimmery. I think I might just go into, this is my own palette, this is the Galactic Visitor, and I might do the in, just to have like a peachy pastel matte inner corner. And I kind of want to do eyeliner. So just clean off my brush, and this is just a little bit of that in, just to brighten this up and accentuate again with the pinks and make it all like flow together. Like it starts with a green and ends with a peachy pink. That is looking really cool. So this is what I'm saying. I think I'm gonna do a little bit of an eyeliner. Wait, I feel, we've talked about this before, but I feel like I have like hairs that I need to pluck in the inner part of my eyes. I don't know. Apparently I'm not that weird, you have it too. Okay, that's better. Let me see if I can do... just a little bit of an eyeliner. I'm gonna do a thin one. Okay, turns out these lipsticks are extremely pigmented and pretty bright. And since I have this muted meets peach kind of a look on me, none of the other lip colors really worked with the look except this one that's called Ryu, which is the more brownie one. I was honestly a little surprised at how bright these lip colors were. And I almost think, because like that pink one felt very like 2014 Candy Yum Yum. I'm wondering if, I don't know if these are the colors from the game, but I'm wondering if they would have been better off doing something a little bit more muted, because I do think that those are not the colors that most people wear on a day-to-day basis. With that being said, I really like my cheeks, I really like my eyes, I really enjoyed working with these products. And I think in the grand scheme of like indie brands, Game Beauty definitely is an indie brand that is a smidgen more on the affordable side compared to some of the other indie brands out there. The cheek, it's a little bit tacky but not sticky. Like it didn't 100% dry down, but I definitely don't think that hairs, bugs, you know, feathers will catch on this. It's more like I can feel it, but it's definitely not sticky. The lip color is very, it's like a It's like a, not a comfort matte because I don't think it has like any silicones in it, but it's definitely not a satin either. It's like an almost matte lip color, but it is creamy, so you don't have to worry about it feeling like overly dry. I think the eyeshadow palette is a really fun color story, and I understand the packaging in like regards to being a collab, and this is something that I've talked about before. Sometimes a packaging can be a little bit bulky for a collab if it makes sense for the collab. Personally, I don't prefer having this much like dead space in a palette, but I do think this is a really fun. Again, this is also like a little bit more of an unusual rainbow palette because we have some like more murky undertones, we have some bright undertones, darks, lights, there is a silver in here, there are some toppers, there's this really pretty like cool toned green metallic shade. Overall, I think that this palette has really good quality, really nice shadows, really interesting different tones in here, and I've really been enjoying the Game Beauty quality as of late. I think they've been doing some really good things, and their single little multi-chromes are actually really nice. And if you're the kind of person who just want to get like a one or two special shadows and you don't mind having them in like single compartments like this, the Game Beauty ones are usually a really affordable way of getting a hold of shadows like that. So overall, I think this collection is really beautiful. Which is my favorite one? Where did I put the other ones? Hold. Okay, here we go. I have all the 6 palettes here. Which one is my favorite? Quite honestly, it is the Dede signature palette, the Drops of Fantasy. I think this palette is bomb.com. I am so impressed with the quality, the undertones, the packaging, beautiful, everything. This is just a beautiful palette altogether. There are so many interesting undertones and combinations with this palette. Truly is one of the most versatile rainbow palettes I've seen because of the difference in depths, undertones, cool versus warm, and also whether or not it's super bright or a little bit more muted. And these shades here, I think that this one is just an absolutely stunning palette, and if you were on the market for something really bright and fun and colorful for the summer, I definitely think that this could be the one. I'm also really enjoying the new Fantasy Cosmetica palette. Overall, I think all the palettes have like really good quality. I feel like this color story is something that, again, I think that like the combinations to be had in this palette, I think this is probably, now that I'm thinking of it, probably one of the most well-made composition-wise 9-pan palettes in my collection, because there are so many possibilities to be had with these. The owner, Jordan, has really thought about like different opportunities. I will say I was underwhelmed by the quality of some of the shadows in the Nomad Cosmetics palette, and they have so many amazing palettes. So if you wanted to try Nomad Cosmetics, I definitely, this is not a dud, but it's not their best palette. I would maybe steer you in a different direction. They have some really killer palettes. I think my favorite might still be the, I keep forgetting, they had a palette about that Mount Fuji in Japan. That one, oh, such a beautiful one. I like the Adept one too. I really think that Adept is becoming more and more a brand that does things that fit me too. Not all of their shimmers is that super emollient type of shade that like creases on me. They're incorporating different kinds of other formulas in here too, and they're giving me even more mattes in this one than some other palettes. And I also feel like they worked on their mattes a bit, because for a bit I feel like, except in the Heather Austin palette, but that's also probably because Heather is so picky with her mattes, I feel like the mattes sometimes were an afterthought, and in this one I do feel like they're really good mattes. The Sigma Spectrum palette, this is just a color story that's not, I mean, the quality, there's nothing wrong with the quality, but this is just very beige to be perfect for me. And my thoughts on this one you just heard. So let me know, have you tried any of these palettes? Which one is your favorite? Which one was your favorite look out of different ones? I would love to hear about it down in the comments. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment. It really does help out in the YouTube algorithm. And if you're interested in any of the things I talked about, they're gonna be down below in the description box. I hope you're having an amazing day, and I'll see you real soon again in a new video.